And joining me this morning are Edwin Apia and Northern Aqua Hayford. Good morning, guys. And how we all doing?
We are fine, thank you, Dondiel. How are you?
I am fine. I am blessed as well.
Great.
Great. Now, let's go into the front pages. But before that, let me wish a happy birthday to Philip Osebons, the host of Echo C Sing, on our sister station, Asempa FM. Philip, happy birthday. God bless you. So let's do the front pages, shall we?
Okay, as for this birthday, anyway, I wouldn't want to comment.
Oh, Philip, Philip is a brother from long ago.
Tadi boys, Oshewa. Okay, on the front page of the Daily Graphic this morning says Ghana losing public records, archival facilities in deplorable state. Also, recapitalization will strengthen indigenous banks. Nanoto Achampon there, and National Cathedral priority among priorities. The president speaking.
The Ghanaian Times and the New Crusading Guide are both reporting on vigilantism. The National Security Advisor is saying that two of the suspects have been busted, and he's repeated his vow to clamp down on the menace. And the same thing has been repeated by Kojo Opon Nkrumah, the information minister designate, who is saying that the police should actually clamp down on the thuggery.
Now we go to the Finder this morning. It's reporting 145,000 cleared for jobs, while Fem banks commit 4.43 billion to 1D1F. Remember that this particular story was on PM Express, and then also on this front page of the same paper, give us first option to redevelop Accra. That's coming from Greda. Government to promote cost-efficient solar energy project, and Ghana Post West Blue launch valuation center and e-commerce platform.
Yes, and the Ghanaian Observer is reporting on both Bawumia and Mahama. You know, the two of them in the same sentence is a little bit something. But yeah, Bawumia is saying that there's going to be an infrastructure boom in 2019, whilst Mahama is allegedly ploying to incite Ghanaians against the MPP government for 2020. I don't know how trying to win an election is inciting, but that's what the Ghanaian Observer is saying.
Anyway, that's what they've observed.
Yeah.
Northern.
Well, on the front page of the Chronicle this morning, very interesting headline here. SHS tutors still chopping our girls. GES interdicts 2 from St. Louis and Kumasi girls. And 64,000 Ghanaians to get former jobs. Kojo Opon Nkrumah there. And 21 Nigerians arrested for suspected robbery.
Yes, in the Business and Financial Times is talking about how stressed microfinance institutions are putting as much as 1.2 billion cedis of investor funds at risk. And it's also talking about financial and investment insurance growth is shrinking after rebasing. That's what an economist, Professor John Gache, is saying.
The Statesman this morning says Ghana to champion use of renewable energy. Bawumia shares plans for power in remote areas, and don't abuse academic titles. Those of you who have a lot of titles that you're using, do not. And also 2020 will turn on track records, says Jampo.
Well, talking about track records, Mahama is defending thieving general, the Daily Guide is reporting. And if you open the Daily Guide newspaper, you would read a story about the unemployed guy who has been jailed 7 years for defilement.
And today's newspaper is reporting Mahama hits back at Bawumia, and also lawyer advocates for sex audit committee in schools, and police round up 23 suspects in a swoop at Amasaman and Pokwase.
23, that's a large number. But you know what's a larger number? 145,000. Now, Northern, I first heard this on PM Express when Minister for Information Designate Kojo Opon Nkrumah was speaking with Evans Mensah. But give us the details as are being reported in the papers.
Okay, so the Finder is reporting that these 145,000 have been cleared for jobs. And so what is happening is that the breakdown is as follows. 24,033 health workers are going to get workers, and then over 9,500 at the educational sector, 4,000 for the police recruits, and then 3,527 security personnel. The rest are 2,700 agricultural extension officers, 1,049 local government workers, 20,000 afforestation workers, and then 100,000 nation builders calls. trainees. And so this is what we are being told, that the financial clearance, which is one of the most or the first thing that you need to get. If the finance ministry do not give this clearance, trust me, you won't get that job. You will work for years and you will get nothing. And so
you may get the job, but you won't get paid.
You won't get paid.
Yeah, which is why we have the job in the first place.
The thing about this story is, how do you classify 114,000 jobs? Do you put it under job creation or job provision? You know?
So what's the difference between creation and provision?
Oh, but creation means it's not there and you create it. Provision is there. I mean, if I go to a provision store, the ideal milk is there and I buy it.
And you pick it up.
Exactly. But when it's creation, I put sand and something together and I build a house. You understand? So is it creation or provision? And how do you sell it to Ghanaians as an example?
Edwin, if I get a job and I'm going to work, I don't think I would care if it was created,
certainly
it was provided, or it was emailed to me.
Certainly, I mean, but you see, the point is, if it ever becomes, you pull out government's track record when it comes to jobs, and this one is pulled out as an example of what government is doing, it becomes a little bit problematic. You get my point? Because, it's a government job. You understand? Yeah.
Okay.
No, but you know, the government needs to create jobs, Daniel. And if they have to create the jobs, they must come out to tell us that this is the number of jobs that we've made available. And this time they're saying you have the financial clearance, you can absorb these people to the formal sector or whichever sectors of the economy.
But you see, the question Edwin was asking is that, for instance, if a factory is set up, there's new industry, there are new jobs from there. You can say the jobs are created out of nothing, but if you are providing jobs, but then I can also say that, for instance, Nation Builders Corps has modules that were not existing before, right?
Yeah, but the money that we are going to use to pay them exists. The point is that you remember how just in recent days, the last time we had this program at Ghana Connect, we learned that we are using we have just about 2% of our tax revenue is left for capital expenditure.
Yeah,
you understand? And so if we are employing 145,000 and the meat is down to the bone,
how are we going to pay them in the first place?
Exactly.
So you would wish to see that we would have an industry or a new revenue line, and that will be feeding into these jobs.
I would wish that governments get around the idea that they cannot create jobs. You see, it's an economic debate than a political debate. You can't provide jobs. Government can't provide jobs to people. It's private enterprise that creates jobs. So I think what we should be doing is creating the environment that allows private sector to flourish.
Which is what government set out to do in the first place. But anyway, it is also important that in the case where people need jobs and they are not getting jobs, some would argue that government can step in there. But it's an interesting point you raised there, Reverend. It's an interesting point you raised there. No, but let's I'm on you now, Edwin, because Mr. Batidam has been speaking.
Oh yes, Mr. Batidam he's talking about how the problem of vigilantism. And he yesterday we had a very engaging discussion with him on. I enjoyed the discussion. He was flowing. He was really talking about his stuff that we know him to, And then when we got to the discussion about the much more contentious areas, it was a little bit difficult for him. But Batidam, I like Batidam. I mean, I did some articles about Batidam during those days. He's saying that right now.
You took him to the lab.
Yeah. But he's saying that political vigilantism, government will die by the sword because it won an election by the sword. Basically, that because we have fed a certain political narrative, we have created expectations among certain groups of people, and when government finds it difficult to meet that expectation, it creates problem for everybody. And you remember just recently what happened in yeah, exactly, and how 2 suspects have been arrested. Mm-hmm. If you tie that into what government officials have been saying lately, that the police should step in and prosecute, do their work, you get a situation where it becomes a little bit funny, because the last time when the police actually did their work, the state attorneys in Kumasi actually went to the Kumasi Circuit Court to say, to file noli prosequi. You remember?
We have no case.
Exactly. They have no case. So and you know the police. One of the things the police really, one of the Bible verses the police really respect in this country is Psalm 105. It says, "Touch not my anointing." You know,
do my prophets no harm.
Exactly, and do my vigilantes no harm. They don't touch them. So you see, when they do their work, and then you free 13 or 8 at another time, and then you come back and tell them to do their work. Yeah.
It becomes anyway.
On this particular issue, I have always said that look, we need to allow for the police to do their work. We're in this country when political parties were given police persons, especially the flag bearers, to guard them. Did they really even use these people? Did they use them? They preferred using their own bodyguards that they have taken. And I think that as a country, we must allow the security service to begin to do their work and not allow so-called bodyguards that we create. Because these people are not trained. And what they are told is what they do, which is not good for us as a nation.
But you see, the problem is that the elephant in the room is an elephant in this particular case. Because, you know, how I mean,
it's not an umbrella.
It's not an umbrella. It's an umbrella elephant.
Okay, Normal, I'm coming back to you with this one. So the N1 is to be close to traffic. Very, very serious story. But let me just tell listeners that we will be dwelling a bit more on this story of the two members of the Delta Force being arrested a bit later in the show. So you want to stay with us for that. But the N1 will be closed down.
Yes, the graphic this morning reports of the portion of the lay-by of the Tetekwashi, that's Jowulu. You remember when it rained somewhere last week? If you're looking at coming from the Talo end, that is, you're heading from Tetekwashi coming to, let's say, La Paz.
Okay.
Getting to Jowulu Junction, the place was flooded.
Okay.
And what we're being told is that is the section, and they are looking at the outer lane, which will be close to traffic to allow them deal with the culvert that is there. In fact, this is even being sponsored by one private man. You know, it's not actually the highway themselves.
So the private man saw the flood and he decided that he's going to do something about it.
Is it Iris Property Group Ghana Limited? They are providing 400,000 cedis for this job to be done. And you're looking at it being closed from the October 13th to 20th of October. That is 1 week. You have
that's from Saturday.
From Saturday. So Saturday to Saturday, you will have that side of the highway closed for them to be able to do this work. I'm asking myself, you are part of these engineers, if I'll put it to you that way. You have the certificate or you've been trained. you've been trained in that area. How do you construct a road and you could not envisage that these are the challenges that could come? You put the very small culverts, and then now it rains and you are exposed.
But the landscape could change over time. One thing that pushes water into the roadway is construction along the road. Okay. The more buildings come up along and this is a very, very rudimentary analysis that I can give. The more buildings that come up along the road, the more water is pushed onto the road itself, because normally if it was earth, then it will seep into the earth.
Exactly.
Yes, but now it will push the water into the road. Now, if I'm calculating the size of the drain that I need there, I'll calculate using the current situation and maybe make a few projections. But that could change.
Right,
I said using the current situation and make a few projections, but that could change. And here I wasn't involved in the N1 construction.
No, we're not saying
Daniel,
so.
I
I
don't know what's happening.
I don't know what's happened. What I'm saying is that yes, I could make those calculations, make a few projections, but then again, I don't know what's happened with the N1 in particular. So that's but that's a little that I can give there. The landscape changes all the time, as and when time goes on. But let me get myself out of trouble this morning. Edwin, I'm coming back to you. Speaking of engineers and the work they do, someone asking for an option to redevelop Accra.
Oh, yes. A very interesting story. You know, Greta is complaining in the finder that they were not consulted when government engaged the services of an architect from Singapore. His name is Dr. Liu Tai Ke. Daniel, say it after me. Liu Tai Ke.
Liu Tai Ke.
Liu Tai Ke. Hey, Charlie. Liu Tai Ke. Yes, he's an 80-year-old master planner of Singapore, and Greta feels left out. You know, they feel that, I mean, they have competent professionals, and how do you engage somebody outside the country? When Singapore had a problem with the architecture, they engaged a Singaporean. So when Ghana has a problem with its city, you would expect they would engage Daniel, a Ghanaian. But apparently, we've gone to engage a Singaporean. And you know, a little bit information about Dr. K. You know, he's a chairman of livable cities he's the chairman of livable cities in Singapore. And I remember that he also talked about how architects in Ghana are going to be given the opportunity to partner him, and then they're going to develop townships around the city. So it's not just redeveloping the city, they are going to build townships around the city to help rural urban migration, so that you don't have a situation where everybody wants to come and see Dubai, and then they come around and then they flood the place. So when the Singaporean is done with this country, we are going to have a flood-free, crowd-free, and squalor-free city. You know? Exactly.
But that's what has caused that controversy with Greda and a number of local professionals in that field asking that, you know, it shows a lack of confidence in local capacity.
Did they even come forward themselves to say that, look, we've seen floods in Accra, we've seen the slums that are being developed, and we want to help in redeveloping Accra? Do you have to sit there until the government takes a decision, and now you're saying that you should have been consulted? Many years that they have been in existence.
But master plans have been developed before. In fairness, Northern, master plans have been developed by local capacity before. The question has been, have they been implemented?
Well, governments have come
and with even this
will
plan that this Singaporean will do, will it be implemented? Because for planning, Ghanaians, we know how to say we'll do nice things. We know how to
I say talk is cheap.
Yeah. But you know, Greda has actually been on this show to talk a lot about how the city has been poorly planned. I just think we should have some sympathy towards their concerns, because you see, Greda from 1988, they are now 30 years old, and a 30-year-old association. You are trying to redevelop the city, and if it is true they were not part, I feel I just have a penchant to side with our local partners in this particular case.
30 good years you've been in existence. Accra, the slums have been growing all these years, and it had to take someone to come in, and then you are not crying over it.
Ghana government actually went over there, and then they met Tai Kai in February. So I'm thinking Tai Kai. So I'm thinking, if you go there to meet him, and there are some here, why don't you just stay here and meet them? I mean,
okay, Northern. But speaking of Ghana, we are the 7th wealthiest country in Africa.
I mean, when I saw that story, I was like, okay, 7th wealthiest country in Africa. Is that reflecting in the
You bring us the story. You bring us the story.
Well, Ghana has been ranked, as we are told. Figures were contained in the Afri-Asia Bank Africa Wealth Report of 2018, and it was just published this September. The report covers wealth, luxury, prime property, and wealth management trends in Africa from 2007 to 2017, with projections up to 2027.
Okay.
And the fact that, you know, our wealth is we are worth $63 billion as of December 2017. That's how much we are worth as a country. And as I told you, those were the various, when they look at the properties and all that. And of course, in Accra, you can see all the buildings that are spread.
The luxurious buildings, how many of which are being occupied.
The kind of cars we are driving on our roads.
You hold on a moment. Edwin, there's another interesting story about Ghana.
We have won another award, though.
Which is?
We are the second in open defecation.
So, wealthiest country.
7th wealthiest country, second in open defecation. You know, I wonder what that says about Africa as a continent.
Well,
I mean, go to Cape Coast Castle. Jojo brought us a story. Joy News.
Oh, yes. And people were defecating just outside the castle. However, we've gone back there since the Ministry of Tourism reacted to that story and set up a task force. We have gone back there. We found that that open defecation has reduced drastically because we did stay for the same amount of time. We didn't see anyone at all there.
So you are almost like the Galamsey version. You know, you send boots on the ground and then make sure that they don't open.
Yeah.
But you know, this particular story about the sanitation ministry, the minister has declared a war on open defecation. You know, Cecilia Abnadapa is saying that there's going to be a war on open defecation, and he was saying this. We are going to have government is going to give 20,000. What do they call it? They call it. There's a name for it. They say it is Digni Lu Latrine.
Digny Lou Latrine.
Digny Lou Latrine. Have you used one before?
Nope.
And they are saying that they're going to give 20,000 to residents
Okay.
across the country.
Okay.
And they want to end the menace in the shortest possible time.
I would ask them
All
what
right.
happened to the one house,
but that was
which-
Mr. Joseph Kofi Ada.
You
This
know,
is Cecilia Abnadapa. So this one is one Dingy Lou.
Yeah,
One citizen, one Dingy Lou.
Dingy Lou.
All right. We are moving online now. The online news review is brought to you by Zenith Bank in your best interest. Goyle Good Energy. And download the Safe Doctor app now from the Google Play. Safe Doctor, the future of better medical care. Now, Goyle, your trusted number one and biggest indigenous oil marketing company, says, Ajiko to our numerous customers, your loyalty to the Goyle brand has again been rewarded. For the third consecutive year, Goyle is the CIMG Petroleum Company of the Year. We dedicate this award to you, our valued customers, for staying with us through thick and thin. Continue to buy from any of our 300 plus service stations for quality fuel and lubricants. Buy Goyle and let's support the economy. Goyle Good Energy, Goyle Yenara Yedia. Now, Zenith Bank has now obtained an ISO 27001 and PCI DSS certification. More than ever before, customers of Zenith Bank can be assured of the confidentiality of their information as well as security of our systems, processes, and procedures. So go on, make that move to Zenith Bank today. Open an account with us and sign up for our array of MasterCard and Visa cards. Banking with Zenith Bank is easy, convenient, and secure. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. Now, the Airtel Tigo network upgrade is ongoing to provide customers with nationwide coverage, fast internet, and superior voice quality. The upgrade will be a smooth one, however, in the unlikely event where customers do encounter a network challenge such as no service or emergency. Customers should visit any Airtel Tigo shop in the Greater Accra region with a valid ID to upgrade their SIM for free. This upgrade will not affect customers' Airtel Tigo money, airtime, or phone contacts. Customers can also call 100 or 0277 55 1000 or 02 60100 for more information. Let's upgrade together for wider coverage, fast internet experience, and superior voice quality. Airtel Tigo, one big happy family. MyJoyOnline.com says government told to investigate missing $7 billion gold proceeds. They were told by PIAC, the Public Interest Accountability Committee. Over 53,000 abortion cases recorded at public health centers in 2017, according to a study. The BBC.com has news on Hurricane Michael. Monstrous storm set to hit Florida, and Conor McGregor suspended from UFC on medical grounds. Remember McGregor, right? He's the guy who fought Floyd Mayweather. And AdomOnline.com says Commander Sugar Factory, $35 million metal plates left to rot. Anyway, so that's it for the news and online review. Thank you, Edwin Appiah. Thank you, Northern Aqua Hayford. We're going online. We're going for the BBC News at 7 after this.
For Interplus in Green